coaches. Today I want to talk about creating a Facebook interest list and working from a master list to help grow your business. This is kind of a side topic of warming up your market. I recently did a call with some other two-star diamond coaches, and this coach talked about how she was warming up her market to her. So she was messaging people to really create a relationship, and she called it warming up her market. Granted, we all have a warm market of people we might be working with, but she was trying to go above and beyond of not just people who knew her and that she was friends with. She was working really hard at creating relationships with those people, or quote unquote warming them up to her. So, and she was keeping track of those people in a master list and using a Facebook interest list to really have a place where she could go and warm up her market. So today I want to just share with you how to create a Facebook interest list and how it can really help you stay organized to go through your whole, instead of going through your whole Facebook friends list. Say you have a friends list of 1,000 people, but you have a couple hundred people who you think would be very interested in what you have to offer, or think you think they'd be good customers or coaches. You could add them to a Facebook interest list. That way, when you want to go and comment and really interact with them on Facebook, you don't have to scroll through your whole news feed. You can go to your interest list and see all those people who you have added to your interest list. I also use Facebook interest lists as a way to keep track of all my personally sponsored coaches, so I can look in on their social media posts and give them feedback instead of having to search by their name for their page or to go anything like that. I try to every couple days go into my Facebook interest list and just scroll through the news feed of those coaches. So basically, creating a Facebook interest list is creating your own news feed of just the people that you wanted to add to the list. So I'm going to share my screen and show you how to create a Facebook interest list. It's super easy. So I'm going to go to Facebook, and over here at the bottom, there's one that, so you have your favorites, you have your pages that you're running, then you have one that's called interest, and you might not have ever noticed that it was there before. So I'm going to actually go over here to where it says more, and it's going to pull up a Facebook interest list, and should show them all, but anyways, hold on. More. Okay, so I'm going to add an interest. So there's different ways you could do this. You could categorize people by their alphabet, like if you wanted to put all the people whose names started with A through C together, or vice versa. If you wanted to make a big list of, say, your 100 people that you would like to talk to. You know how at the beginning we ask you to make a list of 100 names? You could add those 100 names to a Facebook interest list. So all you do is hit create interest list. Oops. Oh, that's what you're supposed to be able to do. Hold on. Okay, here we go. This is what it's supposed to look like. So here are my interest lists that I have already. I have an interest list for my personally sponsored coaches, and see how I have this one for prospective customers. You can make a list called prospective customers, or your list of 100, or your master list. I also have a list of Beachbody coaches who I was following for inspiration. So all you do to create an interest list is hit add interest. And it's going to ask you to name, you can search your list or you can create a list. We're going to actually create a list of our own. And you can, then you can add the people that you want to the list. You just click on their names and hit next. And then you would name your list. And I always make my list private, so only I can see the list. So you create your list, you name it, you add your people to it, and then you hit done. So what happens? You have your Facebook interest list. I'm going to show you mine. So here's my personally sponsored coaches. So I can click on this interest list, and it will show me the news list for everybody who is, I have 34 people on this list. So I will scroll through here, and these are people who are my personally sponsored coaches. So I can see what they're sharing on Facebook. I can interact with them. I can see their posts and see what they're all about. So the same thing you could do for prospective customers. I'll go to my prospective customer list. So here's my prospective customer list. So these people I think would make really good customers, or clients or coaches. And so what I want to do is I want to warm them up to me. So I don't want to just randomly message them something. I would like to interact with them and really be a friend, create that relationship. So they have a really cute baby, I could comment something, and don't just say cute. Be really genuine in your responses and really be a friend. And this is just a way to be focused as a friend. So you can focus on people with the intention of being a friend first. Granted, these people might not ever become customers of yours, but everybody could use a friend. So these are people that you could really share stuff with them and really be a friend. Because they always say people want to be, it's better to be interested than interesting. So people are posting stuff on social media because they want people to comment on it and like it, and they want to be seen and heard. So this is a good platform instead of, so here I have 140 people on this list, and it's been a while since I've used this list. I have it on my list to update my list. So instead of scrolling through my news feed of 1,385 friends, I can go to my interest list and focus on just the people who I really want to interact with, instead of scrolling through a news feed of 1,385 people. My news feed will be narrowed to whoever I think would be a good customer or client, coach. You can make a different list depending on your different goals. So I also wanted to share with you a tracking device. Of course, we have talked about the power of 3 before. And I think that's a great tool to make sure you're talking to enough people and seeing enough people. But I have found that it's not always the best for following up with people when you just track people on the power of 3. So I created this file, and I will share it with you as well, called the master list. So you could put the people that you put on your Facebook interest list, you could put them in this master list. Just name them all down. And then when you actually send them a message after you've interacted with them a little bit on Facebook through their page, you can send them a message of hi or hello and get a conversation started. So you can mark down the date that you sent that message and any notes that you learned about them in that conversation. And then as you continue to warm them up with your market, you continue to talk to them and create that relationship. You might have an avenue where you could invite them to a challenge group. You could, learn what their goals are and really have that open invitation to invite them. So it won't be like a cold market, just random invitation. You'll have really gotten to know them and really found out what their goals are, found out what they're struggling with just by being a friend. And so you can have the opportunity to invite them. So you can mark the date down for when you invited them. And then if you needed to follow up, you can, follow up at a certain date. You could put a date there. But that way you can have a way to track who you've talked to and who you need to follow up with. And what I do when I do lists like this, so say I've talked to somebody and let's say I talked to Jane Doe on September 1st, and she's struggling to find the time to work out. I could have, talked to her about that, and she might have mentioned that because she could have said, oh, I really love seeing all your posts when you're working out. I wish I had time to do that. And, maybe I had the opportunity to say, well, hey, I'd love to help you. I could share with you how to work out for just, 30 minutes a day. You don't have to go to the gym. You can do it in your home. And say I invited her to my September challenge group. So let's say I invited her on September 15th to a challenge group. And maybe time wasn't the right, money wasn't right, or it wasn't the right time. I could say she was interested, timing was off, follow up again in January. She might have told me that she isn't ready until January. So what I like to do is, so I've talked to this person. I'm really big on color coding, especially in Google Sheets. So I would color code this. I could color code it by month. I could color code it by, whether she's interested or not. But I would follow up. My not right now, quote, follow up color is always blue. So that way when I'm working off my master list and I go through and I see somebody, I can be like, okay, Jane Doe, I need to follow up with her again. I could look over my notes and see that I needed to follow up with her in January. So you can continue to do that. That way, people aren't lost in the shuffle. I found when I'm messaging people all the time, I might lose somebody because I'm talking to a lot of people. I might forget to follow up with somebody if I don't have it marked down. So this would be a great resource to really track your customers. Granted, there are so many different ways that you can track your customers, to track your clients, and to track people, and you just really have to work a system that works for you. But this is just an option. You could tailor it to what fits your needs, but as long as you're tracking, that's the main thing. Track so that you don't have people fall through the cracks. And I'll post some other suggestions on tracking systems. I know some coaches who use a program called Evernote, which I think is really good. I don't personally use it, but it definitely is an option. And if you have any questions, please post below. Make sure you make an interest list and create a list of at least 100 people who you would like to warm up a little bit and really get to know. Talk to you guys later.